Yo, everyone. How we doing there? I think my hat's affecting my dialect here. So if you're not familiar with this, based on the title of this video, you notice it says Proverbs 17. That's the 17th chapter of a book called Proverbs, which is found in a library called the Bible, just past the middle. Open it up, boom, you'll hit Psalms, put Psalms. Right after that is the book of Proverbs, ancient book of wisdom, stood the test of time, thousands of years old. Maybe you're too smart for it. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you think it's too simple. Maybe you want something a little more complicated. I don't know. It's pretty dense if you ask me. Dense in a good way. Kind of like, I don't know, a good marble. Is that dense? What's dense? Diamonds. Those are dense, right? Anyways, let's not talk about density. Here we go. Chapter 17. I read it. I haven't read it in a while. I've read it before, of course. Haven't prepared any commentary, so I'm just going to make comments based on kind of what jumps out at me. Or who knows what's swimming around in my noggin today, and then hopefully there's something swimming around in yours, and you're going to share that with us, and we're all better for it. So here we go. Ancient wisdom for all of us. Proverbs, chapter 17. Skip this part if you want. Read it on your own if you want. Listen to it as you fall asleep. Change the video, whatever. Turn me off. X out. I won't even know it. Chapter 17. Better a dry crust with peace and quiet than a house full of feasting with strife. A prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and will share the inheritance as one of the family. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart. A wicked person listens to deceitful lips. A liar pays attention to a destructive tongue. Whoever mocks the poor shows contempt for their maker. Whoever gloats over disaster will not go unpunished. Children's children are a crown to the aged, and parents are the pride of their children. Eloquent lips are unsuited to a godless fool. How much worse lying lips to a ruler? A bribe is seen as a charm by the one who gives it. They think success will come at every turn. Whoever would foster love covers over an offense, but whoever repeats the matter separates close friends. A rebuke impresses a discerning person more than 100 lashes a fool. Evildoers foster rebellion against God. The messenger of death will be sent against them. Better to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than a fool bent on folly. Evil will never leave the house of one who pays back evil for good. Starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam, so drop the matter before a dispute breaks out. Acquitting the guilty and condemning the innocent, the Lord detests them both. Why should fools have money in hand to buy wisdom when they are not able to understand it? A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. One who has no sense shakes hands and pledge and puts up security for a neighbor. Whoever loves a quarrel loves sin. Whoever builds a high gate invites destruction. One whose heart is corrupt does not prosper. One whose tongue is perverse falls into trouble. To have a fool for a child brings grief. There is no joy for the parent of a godless fool. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. The wicked accept bribes in secret to pervert the course of justice. A discerning person keeps wisdom in view, but a fool's eyes wander to the end of the earth. A foolish son brings grief to his father, and bitterness to the mother who bore him. If imposing a fine on the innocent is not good, surely to flog honest officials is not right. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. All right, cool. I'll just hit those last two verses really quick. I like that. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered, which is true, I think. And then the last verse kind of backs it up. It's like, hey, think about it. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. So even if you're an idiot and a fool, and you don't know what you're talking about, as long as you don't talk, no one can know it. It's that famous line, and I think that's kind of where the idea comes from. People don't know how much you don't know until you tell them, right? So it's like when you speak foolishness, people are like, oh, okay. And that's one of the reasons why people are scared to ask questions, because they're afraid that if they ask a dumb question, they're going to look dumb. And I think there's ways to get around that. One, I tell people all the time when I'm in any kind of interaction with them, where maybe I'm the expert, or especially like in my work, I say, hey, there's really no dumb questions. There's dumb questions in life, But when you're doing what you're doing here within this situation, with all what we're dealing with in my world, buying houses and borrowing money, I say that it's really not a dumb question because this is a big deal. This is your money. This is your life. So if you have a question, just ask it. And I help them feel better by saying, I've heard all the questions. There's nothing you're going to ask that I haven't really heard before. And if I've never heard it, that'll be fun for me because I've never heard it. So don't worry about it. I'll be able to answer them for you. Here, I want to touch on a couple of these that jumped out at me. Again, what's going to jump out at you or what's going to ring for you is going to be different. But I just want to touch on these. Oh man, where was it, James? I tried to remember them. And now I can't find them. Why do I do this all the time? It's, I think to myself, I'll remember that verse like as I'm reading it. It was the brother one. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. So this is interesting because I've had situations in my life where I had someone that was a friend, and I did what I thought was best to try and help them through a time of adversity. And I learned a lesson kind of the hard way, maybe, and I learned this from someone else. This wasn't my idea. And I find this very wise. When you're a friend of someone, and maybe it's even a family member, I think family is different because family, it's kind of like you're stuck with them a little bit. I know people that cut family members off, and I don't know if that's right or wrong. I've never been in that situation yet to do that or not. But I think there's something about family that there's supposed to be a bond there, like, oh, it's my cousin, or oh, it's my brother, or oh, it's my mom, or whatever. And, we give them a pass and we suffer them. And it's interesting because throughout scripture, God uses the family, the nuclear family, father, mother, children, and then grandchildren, and then also grandparents, aunts, uncles, as a way to describe the way that he relates to us. He's our father, and all that. So, and there's more to it than that. His son, Jesus is like our brother, kind of that big brother that, has got your back type of thing. So I think family is different. This says a friend loves at all times, and then a brother is born for a time of adversity. So what I learned was that people are kind of in three categories as they're in trouble or troubled or having problems or whatever. And that's exactly what it is. Stage one is you have someone who's in trouble, right? So think someone falls in a pit and they need help out. Well, if you come across a friend, hopefully even if you come across a stranger that's fallen into a pit, you might ask, well, what happened? Maybe they didn't fall in there. Maybe they were thrown in there. Maybe they did an awful thing, and so they were thrown in the pit as a way to, as like jail. Who knows? But the idea, if someone's in trouble, you do what you can to help them out of it, right? Then there is the person that is troubled. Okay, so an example of this would be, let's just use money. It could be an addiction. It could be a relationship issue. Who knows what it is? It could be a terrible habit. I don't know. But basically, they're in trouble. So they've been robbed. Okay, they're robbed and their money's been taken, and they need help to get on a bus or go home or whatever. So you help them and you give them what you can to get them out of that trouble. Then you have the person that's troubled. So this would be the person that is coming to you over and over again saying, oh, I was robbed. Oh, I was robbed. Oh, I don't have money. I lost money. I don't have money. I can't work, or whatever it is. It's like, okay, you're troubled. And so when someone's troubled, the differentiation is that when they're in trouble, you help them with the resources that you have or resources that you have access to. But then with their troubled, meaning they're consistently in trouble, now you get them to get help. It's like, hey man, I'm not the source of this fix. Okay. So say if someone with the money thing, it would be like, you need to go to a career counselor. Let's say you are, maybe you need counseling to kind of unpack, what's going on in your head, why you keep finding yourself out of money. And I can actually relate to this. I've had financial struggles for a while in my life. So I'm I can relate to that one. I relate to most problems, honestly, but you live long enough, you have a bunch. So I think that's a big differentiation. And that's kind of you're telling the person like, hey, listen, and I have a friend who's Italian, and they have a phrase in Italy, and I don't know how to say it, but it basically means, and he couldn't even really explain it to me other than to say it this way. He's like, if someone falls down, you help them up. But if they keep falling down, you start to ask, why do you keep falling down? Can I help you figure out why you keep tripping over the same thing and falling down? Because I want to help you up, but this is getting kind of silly. Like you're always on the ground. He's like, but then if you watch someone throw themselves on the ground, or trip over the thing on purpose, now you kind of stop helping them up. It's like, okay, you're troubled, right? You need to there's a root to this problem. Get it? Tripping on the root. That was the idea. There's a root to this problem. Let's get at that. You need help that I can't provide anymore. Okay. That would also go for someone that has an addiction, or a mental health issue or something. I'm not the professional here. I'm not the one that can help you. You are troubled. And then the last stage is someone who is toxic, right? So toxic would be someone that now their troubledness is now polluting your life. So maybe in this analogy, every time this person trips and falls, they I'm trying to figure out, they're harming you in some way. Okay, they're carrying something. Every time they fall, whoop, it hits you in the back of the head. Wham, wham. Well, now you would be stupid to stay there and keep getting hit in the back of the head, or maybe it's endangering or hurting people around you that you care about. And they're like, dude, why are you around so and so? This is bad for you. This is bad for me. This is bad for us. An example of this would be you have a friend who is bad for your marriage, let's say, and let's assume that your marriage relationship is more important than your friend relationship, right? And your wife is like, hey, I don't like this person. I don't like having them around. I don't like them around our family. Get them out of our life type of thing. And that would now be toxic, right? They're now poisoning your life. So they're in trouble, give them a hand. They're troubled, get them to the other hand, get them to the hands that can help them. They're toxic, that's where you've got to cut them off. I honestly believe that, because if people aren't cut off from their sources of help, they tend to just continuing to rely on that help. So there comes a point in time where a person has to take responsibility for themselves. Now, this obviously, I don't give you all the caveats, but if someone is, doesn't have legs or is handicapped in some way, mentally or physically, or whatever, that's different. But even those people, I think, regardless of your abilities, your capacity, you still have the ability to take what we would all consider a reasonable amount of responsibility for yourself. Because at the end of the day, if as Ayn Rand would say, or anybody of that philosophy, if you've never read Atlas Shrugged, great book, and I think that might be coming in our society. But anyway, the idea of personal responsibility and reliance, self-reliance. If everyone took care of themselves, can you imagine if you didn't have to take care of anyone else? And then what if you took care of yourself and you were able to take care of others? Right? I mean, that's what I consider kind of adulthood, by the way, manhood especially. It's like, and womanhood as well. I won't take that away, but it's like, okay, you're a child, other people take care of you. You're a single, young adult, let's call you. You take care of yourself. You want to like punch your man card. Now you're taking care of yourself. Plus you have enough resources to also take care of others, whether that's, wife, children, or just other people in your community or other people in the world. There's a big difference there, so you're taking care of you and others. All right. So I don't know that there was a couple other things that jumped out at me, but I said a lot on that one. And I think that's enough for today. I have no idea how long these go because I don't put a timer on because I don't want to be bound by that. Maybe you wish I did. If you want me to have a timer, go ahead and tell me what you want the timer to be. What's an appropriate amount of time for me to chit chat? My thought is this is a video. You control the buttons. If you want to skip it, skip it. If you want to pause it, pause it. If you want to turn it off, turn it off. That's kind of what I'm thinking. There you go. Individual, not reliance, but responsibility. It's up to you. Do whatever you want. All right, y'all. Any other comments? Anything I want to say about that? No, other than please subscribe to this so that you get notifications so you know when I post these bad boys. And then also please make a comment. If you're taking the time to sit here and listen, type something out. Here's the great thing. Nobody cares what you type. Oh, what do I look like? Oh, I've got a zit over here. Oh, no, stop caring what other people think. Do it for yourself. Put something out there. Who knows what might come back at you? Someone might say, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And you're going, wow, I didn't think it was that dumb. Why do you think it's dumb? Or they might say, wow, that really spoke to me. Thanks so much for putting that down. Who knows? Chances are, if you're thinking it, somebody else is thinking it. And if you're the one to say it, then you might help that person learn more. So there you go. Don't be so selfish and not type anything. You selfish son of a... All right. We're going to finish with a little more Name That Tune. This is a more modern song, so you whippersnappers probably know it. But hey, y'all, have a great day, morning. Hope you had a great day, night, evening, whatever this is for you. Peace out. The end of times, everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this. Whip, whip, me like a racehorse, me like a ripcord, break me down.